Welcome to this week's edition of the Owl and the Pussycats. Great feedback coming in. We'll endeavour to answer as many questions as we possibly can with your problems or things that you want sorted out in your lives or whatever. It's lisa.jordan@ctv.co.nz. But let's welcome back a famous face here on CTV and the Owl and the Pussycats, Rachel Vaughan, the happy gardener. Lovely to see you again. How are you?
Good to see you. And I was going to ask you, you're looking very slim and trim. Have you been on a boot camp?
No, I haven't been on a boot camp, but I've just, I have taken myself in hand, as they say.
Oh, my goodness. Again.
Yeah, but you can work that out.
Yeah.
Great to have you with us. Now, you did have an accident, an equestrian accident, and a lot of people have asked, how's Rachel Vaughan? And we haven't had you on before because you've been busy.
Yes.
How is everything?
Oh, I'm great. So I had a bad neck injury and I broke it. And I've come back really well. I've got sort of 80% mobility, and it's really good from the type of break I had. So I'm back in the garden.
You're still getting the hands down and dirty?
Oh my, look at these fingernails. There's not much left to paint, but no, so I'm sort of...
Community garden, what are you doing there?
So I manage the Waiora Community Garden project, and it is where if you want to come and grow your vegetables in an allotment style, you come in and we give you the seedlings, we give you the plants. If you don't know how to garden, I help you, and then we share the food with each other in community groups and charities. So
how's the uptake of that been? Yeah.
Oh, it's been awesome, and all the food, excess food, we give it to Mariah's, families that can't afford it, school groups to teach them how to cook.
You're looking great. The panel are obviously interested in that, so let's meet the rest of them. Emma, great to have you back from London after 10 years.
Yes.
You are a Christchurch girl, but very much into drama and the theatre.
Yes, very much so.
Was it just time for a break, or what was the reason?
It's time to see my family, spend time with the family. Like my sister's having a baby on Sunday, actually, on Mother's Day.
Wow.
She's due.
Oh, classic.
So yeah, that's
Right.
what we might
Wouldn't
be
that
doing.
be lovely?
I know,
Yeah.
I think for everyone.
Do you know what she's having?
I do, but I'm not allowed
sworn
to
to secrecy.
Oh, no, come on.
Tyra is an ambassador for Southern Skin and would be known, of course, that the friendly face who's been on Let's Go Shopping in the past, but she's passionate about people and psychology, which is an interesting way to go. Tyra, lovely to have you back here.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Looking good. So now you had some questions. Did you girls seem to be so excited to see Rachel about horses? When took that?
Oh, we were just
We
discussing.
were talking about horses, yes, because
Yeah.
I'm on a farm in northwest Canterbury, and there's some horses out there.
Yeah.
On our farm, on
So
our land.
we've now got into my busy hunt season, so the horses are all ready and fit, and
And you're back riding.
I'm allowed to ride, but the hardest thing about me riding is getting my jodhpurs on, because they seem to have...
tight.
They've shrunk, Pete.
Really?
My jodhpurs.
I hate when
Happens when
clothing
you-
does that.
There's nothing worse than when you boil your jodhpurs, is there?
Yeah.
They just shrink, don't they? Yeah. OK, let's go to one from Joan, who's interesting. Joan is from Oamaru, so way down in Oamaru. I'm approaching 45 years of age. Is that middle age? Well, I'm going to open the batting for you and say no, it isn't. I think 80 is the new 60. Is anyone in that sort of dilemma, Rachel?
Oh, Pete, you are too cheeky. As you know, I'm about to turn 45, and so I see that as officially middle age. So I think, OK, so I'm in the middle of what I call 45 days of madness, and that means reconnecting with people I haven't seen for decades, and some that I haven't seen for 20 years. I am ticking things off my bucket list. I'm trying to have one alcohol-free day a week. Now, that may not seem a lot, but it's a challenge. Yeah. I'm also, what else am I doing? I've just taken up smoking.
Oh.
You've taken up smoking?
Yeah. Yeah, it's odd. It is odd. I'm just
lowering the alcohol, but you're
do you know in the
taking
supermarkets that they do not sell matches, because I don't like lighters, next to cigarettes. It's very hard to take up smoking. Very hard.
The
So I think
45 Days of Madness, is that a program or it's a self-invented one?
it's a self-invented one. I think so far I've done about 62 days, so that may mean that
Aim and object be what?
being actually to do those things that you keep putting off. And
What goes by the by while you're doing this though?
I probably could be earning more money. Yeah, but you know, I'm trying to fund the 45 Days of Madness. So I'm just doing things that I've always put off because I was too tired or too busy.
Emma, have you been through a patch like that? Or?
Well, I think it's
Well,
really,
this is a bit of coming home, isn't it, with a bucket list type thing?
I guess so, yeah. It's definitely a time to sort of reconnect at the moment.
Good.
But yeah, middle age, it's funny, like, I don't really...
You've got quite a long way to go, so I
Well,
feel
no.
like I've replaced, I feel like I'm the old pussy. I mean the old pussy.
Tara, moving on. What is middle age to you?
Oh, middle age to me is... I think it's actually when anybody wants it to be.
It's a state of mind, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Totally.
I think it's state of
You could go
mind.
into politics with a statement like that.
And it's, I mean, youthfulness is, you know, someone could be sort of old or middle-aged and at 20, someone could be youthful and vibrant
Well,
at
can we
80.
just go to lovely
A prime example, my grandmother, she had a house cleaner who was in her 60s. I think house cleaning in her 60s, I think that's fantastic. Did I consider her old? No, I didn't. Not at all. She was
So what
very
about you,
spry.
Pete? What do you think's middle age?
I don't actually think of my age, and that's perfectly honest. I have to stop and think when I was born. People say, how old are you? I have to think. It's not something that surrounds my mind at all. I think having grandkids has kept you young, younger.
Yeah.
But I quite like being seen as the senior statesman as well, so it's quite a nice little merge in with that. But lovely segue to go to. Lee from Kaiapoi, though. I'm starting to feel really old and tired. I like to get home from work, sort the kids out, and then just go to bed. Now, this is the interesting bit. I hardly ever go out. I'm only in my 30s and don't think I should be at this stage yet. How can I change this, or is it normal? I don't think it's normal. It's my opinion.
No.
I don't think it's normal for me at my age to be doing that. And I'm a hell of a lot older than the 30s. So, right, you're in your 30s, mate.
I am in my 30s, yeah, happily in my 30s. A great time in my 30s. But, like, I was wondering whether she, you know, does she exercise? Does she sort of take the time to do something that's just for her? Even just once a week to just, you know, soak in the bath with a glass of wine, even, you know, an hour just to yourself, read a book, or go, you know, go out for a good walk or a run at lunchtime, even 20 minutes, because exercising as well, it really helps you feel young, doesn't it? It keeps your energy going, and it sort of...
Yeah. I mean, I would also suggest go to your GP, get blood tests and see if you're lacking in B12.
Right.
Oh,
because lacking in B12 can make you very, very lethargic and very tired, and you don't have the energy. So it could be something very simple that can be readily fixed.
Oh, that's a good point,
Yeah,
because
if there is an
you'd
issue.
think, or possibly that she, the doctor may be useful if she might, you know, be mildly depressed or something like that. So sometimes I've found in the past, particularly when I was injured, my patterns of behaviour were quite limited, and therefore my mental health was suffering a little bit because I wasn't able to engage. And then when I was physically able to do it, I'd almost forgotten how to do it, you know, because I was restricted for so long. So.
Reading that letter from Lee, actually, it sets a bit of an alarm off in my mind as to, gosh, you know, you're in your 30s and you're really having a crisis. What the hell's going to happen?
But obviously she wants some help, because otherwise she wouldn't have written to us.
Absolutely.
So good on
we've come
her.
up with some
Have her
recommendations.
friends to talk to about it. There might be some other friends that are,
Well, join a group, join it, go somewhere like once a week that you just get fellowships, like at the community gardens, come to the community gardens, but like go somewhere, like join a club or a group where you have to go once a week just for like an hour and start to get to know some new people, and that might be scary initially, but she'll get far more out of it than
Because the
just sitting at home.
hibernation theory goes through my mind. I can just see her hibernating.
Yeah,
you know,
when you start
and
to do
not
that, you
growing
just
as a person.
it just can
You've got
become all
years
consuming.
to grow, mate. I can tell you that. You know, if you're only in your 30s now, the world's a hell of an exciting place, isn't it? We all agree with that, I think. Okay. Hi, panel. I'm having a few issues at work. Our colleague I work very closely with has really started to irritate me. That can happen. He doesn't take on board the things I say and is very enthusiastic, but unfortunately not so realistic. It's gotten to the point where even his breathing drives me crazy. How do I deal with this without becoming unprofessional? Terry, I don't know whether you're male or female, but we'll come back to that, Terry, from we'll let the panel think about it. Be back in a moment.
When you need to know what's happening in your region of Canterbury, join me, Chris Lynch, for CTV News First at 5, weeknights from 5, right here on your local channel, CTV.
Computer not working? Replace or repair? DIY or get a technician? Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
The
inspiration, the devotion, the fearlessness, the intensity. Runway model management. First impressions are everything.
Made to measure interiors, made with care, made for you.
Join Graham Sinclair and the team at Gone Fishing as they bring you great stories, fishing tips and beautiful scenery. Gone Fishing, Friday night at 8:30, right here on CTV.
Got to the point at work, says Terry, that even the breathing of the work colleague gets right up Terry's nose. So what can be done about it, guys? It's an awkward situation. Has anyone been in that situation at work?
I've been in a situation where I worked with someone in London in the West End, actually, as box office manager, and it was difficult sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. It got to the point where the little things, were just starting to irritate me, and it's sort of it can cause you so much suffering, and actually it doesn't need to.
Did you front-foot it? Did you go and say, hey?
Well, no, because I can't stop her from, like he can't stop the way his colleague breathes. I mean, that's how they breathe. So you can't sort of say something to this person, about their own personal idiosyncrasies. You can't sort of take that away from them. But I don't know.
You'd say something. You'd really front foot it.
Oh, yeah. And look, in the past, I've had to deal with things like this, and it has been. I've managed it. Good, bad, and ugly is, and I don't remember the good that well, but the bad and the ugly was that a guy needed to seriously wear deodorant. And he got me on a morning, we were working side by side when I was working in the nursery years ago, and it was so bad, I was sick. And I'm like, look here, Ringy, seriously, if you don't sort that BO out, mate, I'm leaving. So, you've got a real problem. And then I got pulled in to the office because I'd behaved like that. But I'd also been sick, so that was pretty ugly. The bad, the bad story is actually, it was just sad because it was another man. He didn't realise body odour problem again, but he also chews with his mouth open, and we'd drive along in the van and he'd be chewing with his mouth open, and that drives me nuts, absolutely nuts. So we fell out. Yeah.
You're like gum chewing.
Tyra?
Yeah.
My advice would be talk to the boss and look at maybe work mediation.
Okay, let's hope that helps, Terry.
God.
This is the Vox Pop question. We went out on the street and asked a 65-year-old German woman is having quadruplets. Okay, good luck to her. She's 13 children, 7 grandchildren, made the headlines 9 years ago when she became Germany's oldest mother at the age of 55 after giving birth to her daughter, who she said was conceived naturally. When is the right time to stop? Let's find out what they thought on the streets.
All comes down to biology, surely. And I have heard recently that it is possible to bear children very late in life, post-menopausal even. So if it works for you, go for it.
I think it's around 30 because when it must be depends on the person, like because some people they have kids in the early stage, it's really easy for them to look after the kids, and sometimes when some people they have like late, they have kids late, it's really hard for them to look after.
The older you get, the more difficult it becomes for your body to recover, and for your body to also go through the processes that it's supposed to, because it's not designed to be something that's done at an older age. However, with the way that careers and whatnot are going, it is something that a lot of women tend to put off until a bit later. They have expectations, though, that that because they've achieved pregnancy, that everything else is going to fall into place, and that doesn't often come about?
I don't think there should be an age cap on it. If you're healthy and can keep up with the kids, then there should be I personally don't think there should be a limit on an age.
I think it would depend on how healthy and fit you are, and mentally as well. But I think at present, having heard about the 65-year-old that's pregnant, I would have grave worries about her health and producing babies at that age, and also long term for the children. When, how long will she be around? And, that's just a bit more of a worry, I think, as a parent themselves.
Well done, Canterbury, out on the streets. You've fizzed the panel up. Rachel, your first reaction to those comments made by the public?
Oh, well, the chap, that sort of said he thought we should all have them before we're 30. He needs to go and pull that head out of his trouser department and get in the real world, because let's face it, we are working longer, we're working harder to get ourselves in positions where we can actually afford a family and provide the lifestyle we want. So as a person in their 40s, we're that last year of considering children, and having been through the whole process of fertility, I'm physically able to carry the likelihood that I could see a pregnancy through is reduced because of my age, but I'm fitter and healthier and nicer now than what I would have been.
Well, that's
debatable.
In itself,
that's debatable.
Okay,
that's debatable.
Two other pussycats here. You're right in the time zone, according to that guy.
Oh, you passed it.
Yeah.
You passed it. Because he said by 30.
Yeah, by 30, so I'm,
Forget it.
Yeah, can't have you apparently.
Hard luck.
But...
just go and buy a doll.
A doll? What do you do with a doll?
Just a wee cuddle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, a fake baby. You're talking about a fake
pretty
baby.
bizarre, wasn't it? Yeah.
That kind of, well, you mean the 65-year-old woman, or the comment? Yeah, the comment was a bit strange, and I don't know what world he's living in, really.
Nowhere in the question has it been brought up. I worry about the child that she's carrying at 65.
Yes.
She may be capable. I wonder, what could actually happen, what she could give birth to, child-wise.
Well, it's also the idea that when these 4 children turn 10, she'll be, 76? And that's a lot to expect of a parent at that sort of age. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I mean, she has 13 children already, for God's sake. I mean, it's not bad.
That to me begs the question,
I'd like to see what he looks like.
Well, what is happening in this woman's world where she feels this need to keep having kids? There's something going on here.
Any more on that? Let's go to Leanne from Cuss, because we've got a prop brought into the studio to help you out here, Leanne. Hello, Pete. I often get hassled for my phobias: butterflies, birds and spiders. People seem to find it amusing and try to purposely scare me, thinking it's funny. For me, it's very real and serious. How do you think I can convey this without upsetting anyone? Do you have suggestions on how to overcome these fears? Can I just say right at the very start that I didn't realise that my daughter-in-law has a phobia, and it really only came about when her kiddies wanted to go to Willowbank. She has a phobia over birds. She could not go in to Willowbank. Tara, are you coming here to help Leanne of Cust out?
I believe knowledge is power, and I'm of the opinion that the more you know about something, the more you take stigmas away, the less frightening something becomes. Now, I actually love spiders, and it just so happened I bought something in which I was going to show the boys sort of behind the scenes.
So that's for Leanne, Leanne of Cust. Would you have that on your wall, mate, or...?
Well, the thing for me is something like this, going to a Canterbury Museum and being able to see the spiders up close, it takes away the stigma that they're absolutely terrifying. Knowledge breaks down this idea, well, I don't know what it is, I don't understand it, and it's terrifying. Knowledge is power. Do research, do reading. And I would also say...
What is that one?
Tarantula?
It's a bird-eating tarantula.
Bird-eating tarantula.
With that, there could be a few less on the panel when we come back from the break. There could be the birds eaten, so we'll find out. Back in a moment with the last time here on the Owl and the Pussycat for this week.
Kids television is right here on CTV. Tune in every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. for an exciting range of fantastic kids programming. Join in with all the fun Saturday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on CTV.
At Bowden Environmental, we specialise in all aspects of resource management, so you don't have to deal with the paperwork. With the skills and knowledge to organise any environmental work, we can guide you through the process from start to finish. From organising consents and farm environmental plans to pump and well testing, Bowden Environmental has it covered. Save time and remove the stress. See the specialist. Bowden Environmental. Computer not working? Replace or repair. DIY or get a technician. Looking for parts? Thinking of upgrading? Need accessories? You've got questions, we've got answers. Global PC.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Arts 21 showcases the vast creative talent and minds that are making a name for themselves in Europe and beyond. Think outside the square with Arts 21.
Well, the ballsy award of the week has to go to Scotty of Culverton, as far as I'm concerned. I know you usually have women writing, but I thought it was time for a bloke to give it a go. I live in North Canterbury and I'm finding it really hard to meet a woman. I'm a nice guy who works hard, but don't have the time to socialise. I get up at 3 a.m. to milk cows. Do you have any suggestions for me on how to find a partner to share my time with? Now, do you mean to share your time at 3 a.m. milking the cows or with your life? But Scotty, full marks for having the courage to write it. Open, guys. Let's help Scotty.
I think in this day and age it is very, very hard to meet people. Where do you do it? It seems to be online, which I'm not entirely convinced about. And where do you go to meet people? You go to bars and everyone's drunk and it's not a particularly engaging environment. It's a hookup situation, which means that you're then left to meet people through friends and through workmates.
You're in a farming scenario in North Canterbury. I mean, yeah.
Not milking cows.
How does Scotty meet these people?
Well, there are a couple of, not that I've gone to them, but I think there are a couple of rural internet, like you're saying, internet dating things that you can sort of go on in groups and things like that. But I haven't sort of investigated them fully myself.
Online dating?
I tried it. I did do it.
Did you?
I did do it in London.
So I met my husband speed dating.
See,
Yeah.
So that's,
and so
I've
I'm
done
from a rural background.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my brother was a rural dairy farmer, and he was wondering, he hadn't quite picked the right egg out of the basket for a couple of times. I would say to Scotty, get into your local sports club, rugby, golf, whatever it may be. Go to the local quiz night at the pub. Get involved in your community. It's actually about fellowship. And get involved and engaged. He might want to hook up with Lee and Kaiapoi, who sits home in her pyjamas that's too tired, because maybe they could get out and do something. I mean,
would she be a bit tired to milk the cows at 3 a.m.? That
she's
would worry
probably
me.
still going to be in her pyjamas, but the reality is...
Tell me, a young farmers club still exist?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
He's 30, what does he say, he's in his 30s, I think, didn't he? Yeah. Is there an age on young farmers? I don't know.
But I've got to say, rural communities are very connected, so he may be new to Culverton or wherever he lives.
Right.
So he's actually got to go to the local shows, the local events, the pub or whatever it is, to meet the locals. Because there's a lot of rural women that are looking for rural men.
Now, the other thing is that he does say that he doesn't have the time to socialise. If he wants to meet someone, he has to find the time. You have to find the time to make the time.
Because if he's not going to make the time, he's a victim. So he sort of deserves it.
You can't complain, really, if
Scotty,
you don't make
we're
the
going
time.
to issue a challenge to you. When you do strike Miss Right, would you please just let us know, because we'd
tell
love
him
to
to give
follow
me
your
a
progress.
call, because I know a couple of nice ladies up that way.
There you go. All right. Problem solved by the sound of it. Might have to take them two at a time, but good luck, Scotty, I'll tell you. Okay. Finally, Carla from Wainoni says, hi, Pete and the panel. I've been faced with some tough questions from my children about my personal life from before I became a nun. Mum, not a nun, yeah. Regarding drugs and sex, etc. How do you figure out what's appropriate to tell them and what's not?
You just trust your wisdom, about what you can share. I mean, your children, they're probably asking because they want to know you better, you know. And I don't know, my mum told me loads of things, you know, when I was, you know, it was good. And she always asked the question. Yeah, when I asked the question, she would share. You know, I mean, I don't know if she shared everything all the time, but she just, you know, you sort of gauge that, don't you? You know how much, use that wisdom to know exactly how much you want to sort of share with your children. I mean, I don't know, you're sort of looking a bit, I don't know. But I think it's great to share your past.
This comes up a lot within my social world, because we have a lot of friends. I'm friends with all these women who have teenage kids. And they're at that stage where they're starting to drink socially, because they're at that 16 to 18-year-old stage, and we're having a couple of drinks, and then these young kids are. And sometimes the conversations can get blurred. So us old girls, we might start talking about, oh, remember that time when, and sometimes I think, and we go, oh, not quite appropriate to be talking about that exactly with these young girls. You know, they don't need to, because things are so different now. You know, the drink driving things, you know, it's a real issue, and we're all complying, which is really good. But maybe what we did 20 years ago was slightly different to what's happening now.
Did you question your mother?
I did, and I would like to think she was pretty honest in her responses. But I also think that in this day and age, we're raising a different generation of children. Yeah. When I was a child, I was playing outdoors. I had friends that I'd go and visit. We had a sense of freedom growing up in the 80s.
And a safe environment.
Yes, and I think kids these days, they have access to the internet. They have all the mod cons. They have their cell phones.
Do they know too much?
I don't think they understand it. I think that there is so much media available to them. They don't have the brains to digest what they're seeing.
Yes.
And that's really unfortunate, because the media that sells or engage or that people watch is actually quite specific. It's quite provoking, and it's evocative. So they're seeing things at a young age that they don't fully understand the dynamic of.
Mind you, if you swing it back, we had to imagine and guess at my age, when I was, say, 50 or something, because it was a taboo subject. And we probably got it all terribly wrong, because we just had to make it up as you went along.
But everyone tries their best.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like your mums have tried their best, and unfortunately I didn't have that relationship with a mother, but if you try your best and your intention is sincere,
Yeah.
it's all about intention, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got to wrap it, unfortunately. lisa.jordan@ctv.co.nz. Send them in, we'll deal with them. And just on that particular note, I have a 3.5-year-old grandson who asked me the other day, Granddad, do you have a penis? And I said, yes. And he said, Grandma doesn't. I leave it with you. It's not easy out there. Catch you next week.